to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember, when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline 208. 208. That means, boys, 4 years running.
52 weeks, 4 years in a row.
Today is our 4-year anniversary show.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible? Absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
So what started this? You and Jamil had this idea. You and Jamil really wanted to do this. You invited me onto the first show, and it just stuck. I stuck around. You guys are like, hey, will you do this with me? And I was like, hell yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
We had your phone. Yeah. We gave everybody your phone number. People were calling in, and it was just ringing and ringing and ringing. It was a mess. It was a total mess. It was truly like a hotline, right?
Yeah.
But
it was.
What was the seed of this?
The seed of it was, I started a podcast because I read a book called How to Raise Private Money. That in chapter 6 it said you should have a podcast.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, done. I'm like an action taker. My number one personality trait in the the Griffith Strengths Test.
Yep.
My number one skill is I'm an implementer. Like,
sure.
If you tell me something, I have a hard time not just leaving the conversation immediately and just doing the thing.
Right.
I don't want any instructions. I just want to do it. Yeah. It's something weird about my personality.
Sure.
So I go, all right, I'm starting a podcast. So what I did is I actually started a podcast by I was like, how to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And I went to 1-800-conferencecall.com.
Yes.
And I started doing a podcast on my cell phone where people had to call into my podcast and press 6 in order to get in line to ask me a question.
Awesome.
I did that for a year. And then Jamil and I were traveling around the country and we met Ty, the tool man Taylor.
Yeah.
Basically, Ty the flip man.
Man.
Ty the flip man goes, wait, you're doing a podcast on a phone call, you idiot? Like, how stupid are you? And he put me on to just doing things on StreamYard, which is the platform we use today.
Yeah.
To stream. We're streaming to a couple different locations. Shout out to everybody that came in to hang out with us. And I rebranded the name of my podcast to Sunday Service.
Right.
And which was kind of a stupid branding because I was doing it on Sunday.
It worked.
It was providing service to people.
Yep.
But I would get people that would like organically show up going, are we talking about our Lord Jesus Christ? Right. They thought it was
What's
a gospel.
The homily?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Jamil comes on the episode. It was like the 40th episode of Sunday Service. And I actually did the episode right here in your office in the little teeny podcast room, like literally over 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about how many things have changed in those 4 years.
Yeah.
And Jamil comes on and I'm taking live calls on my cell phone because I'm still doing kind of the format of people could call in and ask questions.
Yeah.
So Jamil comes on, he's like, bro, I've never had more fun on a podcast in my entire life. Like, do you mind if I just kind of take this format and run with it? I go, do it, man. So he comes up with the name Wholesale Hotline. Him and I do an episode a week, maybe later. And then that week we just go, we're missing something. It's just missing something. And so second week was you were our guest. Nice. You were the second week.
Yeah.
And you were the guest. And all of a sudden it was like magic just hit and we go, we have to do this for years to come. Yeah. And your team basically runs Wholesale Hotline now, which is ironic. We asked you to come on as a guest and now you kind of just like Matt, we got Matt in the back studio.
And Abreu, shout out to Abreu.
Abreu kills it, does a good job. And so I think the podcast now gets something like 200 to 300,000 downloads every single month.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is insane.
Yep. Not downloads, listens.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody talk about when you get to 100,000 downloads a month,
Mm-hmm.
you have the ability to get like 30, 40, $50,000 a month in sponsorship. So we're at a point where with our podcast, we could probably get in $50,000 to $75,000 in sponsorships and titles sponsored, all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have never done that.
Yeah.
We've just kind of just given the value for free on Wholesale Hotline. And it has been nothing short of amazing and a fun trip just hanging out with you guys every Monday for the last 4 freaking years.
Yeah. Jamil, what's up, brother?
How you doing, guys?
Little trip down memory lane to start us out on our 4th year.
Incredible. And, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was the most fun I'd ever had on a podcast. Getting to sit there with Pace and answer questions live was super dope. And, I'm just grateful, to be honest, man. I'm so grateful to have you two in my life the last 4 years, the way we've been, showing up every Monday doing this. When Pace and I were filming the TV show, we used to, arrange our filming schedules to make sure that we made it to Wholesale Hotline. When we travel, we think about what's going on Wholesale Hotline. Wholesale Hotline became a big part of our life. And, it's been a beautiful blessing, man, to be able to hang out with the two of you, my two, favorite people, Pace, the greatest creative finance investor, real estate holder, in my world, but I would say in, the entire country, forget just my little, sphere. And then you, Brent, one of the most positive, influential, and incredible people. And you put me on right out the gate. You're the first person who ever put me on a podcast and ever gave me a shot, And so the fact that I have the two of you that I get to hang around with once a week, it's phenomenal, dude. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to both of you. I love you guys so much. I'm grateful to the audience who's tuned in week after week and given us their ear and have squatted up with each other and have created so many opportunities and made so much money together. It's humbling and I'm grateful.
To find out how many people have done deals just in the chats. You know what I mean? Just connecting in the chats and then putting where they do business. And guys, by the way, this is your opportunity to really network with incredible people from around the country. Put in the chat where you do business. Put in your chat your experience level. Put in the chat what you're looking for. All of those things help to find the right people. And if you're just getting started out and you're looking for people that are a few steps ahead of you, that's where you find the people, is in the chat here. So make sure that you're participating as much as you're watching, and you can get the full benefit out of this, out of the 90 minutes that we do every single Monday. But it comes down to the 3 parts. We talk about it in the intro that we will always keep, I think. I think it's just awesome. But it is lead generation, converting those leads into signed agreements, and then exit strategy. I mean, that is real estate. If you want to look and simplify real estate down to steps 1, 2, and 3, those are the steps. Find great deals, get the commitment on those deals, and then figure out how what you want to do with it, how you want to make money in real estate. Do you want it to be slow and smaller and have it over time and get that subscription money, that rental money? Or do you want to sell the opportunity and get those big chunks in assignment fees or double closes or double escrows? Or do you want to get in there and creatively fix up a property and feel that pride, that sense of pride that you went out and you fixed something out, fix something up in your community? I mean, it's just the best business ever.
I don't feel like it's work at all.
No,
I don't. I feel like I feel like it's vacation from my old work.
Yeah.
Every day. Somebody
Every
told
day.
me, you should take a break. You should take a break. Pay self-care, #self-care. I was like, bro, you've obviously never been a contractor. Otherwise, you would realize that every day is a vacation since the day I stopped being a contractor.
Sure.
I don't feel like I work at all. I just play around with my friends all day long, make money. I was watching Grant Cardone's live real estate training the other day. And Grant's phenomenal. One of the best of the best of the best. Some people hate him. Some people love him. And if you hate him, by the way, that means his marketing is working.
Sure.
We've been behind the scenes of like how intentional he is to actually get people to dislike him, to incite violence in the comments, to get people to actually get eyeballs on him. That's his job.
Yeah.
But while I'm watching his real estate training, it was live on his YouTube channel. He had like 350 people watching live for about 3 hours. And I just kind of left there and I was watching the side chat and I'm like, Nobody's collaborating. Nobody in his side chat are doing deals, making
Right.
money whatsoever. I remember there was a day where Ingrid Hernandez, this is about a year and a half ago, Ingrid Hernandez comes into the side chat on Wholesale Hotline. She helps somebody in the side chat make $50,000. She makes $50,000, and another person in Wholesale Hotline makes $50,000, all in one transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very cool to watch our fun little show, right? 4 years running, very consistent, has been a place for a lot of people to make money. Joel Shilpe, by the way, every time I see this dude, he asks me, can I pick you up? And
Did he pick you up in Dallas?
I asked him not to because I was on stage in front of, it was like a 4,000 person auditorium. And every time he picks me up, he squishes my nuts. And I don't appreciate that. And so he's like, let me pick you up. He's a shorter fellow. And so his arms go directly around your crotch.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And so anyway, Joel's saying the chats have brought me too much value. Buyers, lenders, private money lenders, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mentors, especially Brent. Guys, it's brought a lot to me as well. And it's so fun being consistent. What else has anybody done for 4 years straight on a freaking Monday night?
You know, it's interesting. I remember watching. Do you guys remember Cashflow Chris and Brian would have a show every single week, and it was nonsense. I mean, those guys are hilarious, but they would just jibber jabber and probably smoke weed during it.
100%.
And just, you know, do their thing, but they were showing up all the time. And they were the first people that I saw in real estate that were doing a show every single week. And I was like, wow, like that's really brave of them. Like that's really like to be loud and to do that every week and to just, you know, not worry about what, you know, the comments say and all the other things.
Are they doing their show still?
No, they shut it down years ago.
What are we talking about?
Cashflow
Chris and Brian,
weed smoker, tall weed smoker.
Yeah,
I think their partnership actually split. Unfortunately,
yeah. But I just whatever they're doing. The point is, they were just every single week they were doing the same thing. They would just show up and just click it. And I was like, you know, it gave me some, and so same with the Big Kahuna, multifamily guy.
Oh yeah, he's here local.
Yeah,
Eric. What's his name?
He would just be posting all the time on.
I don't see him
social media.
I don't see him that often anymore.
And right, it's like people just don't do it. I mean, they were doing it a bunch, and I remember seeing it. I was like, wow, they're so brave. And then I finally started doing it, and I was pushed out of my comfort zone and doing it. And it's amazing the amount of people that you meet. You know what I mean?
It's a cheat code.
There's no budget to this.
We could do this. Everybody was consistent in 2020.
I was telling
what's that?
Everybody was consistent in 2020.
Right.
Actually, you want to know the person that was not consistent? Steve Trang.
Yeah.
So I gave you were at Raise Fest, right? So I spoke at Raise Fest this last week, and I spent, I don't know, probably 7 minutes of my 40 minutes I talked about Steve Trang. And I made this guy stand up in the audience, and I just was like, Steve Trang. How can I embarrass this guy in front of 1,000 people? But what I did is I actually complimented him for being a cockroach.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is somebody who shows up consistently, outlasts everybody. What Steve Trang did is he created a compound effect for a lot of people that are creating podcasts. So here's this cool compound effect he did for me.
Yeah.
This was 5 years ago. He brings me on his show, and it was the first podcast I'd ever done.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It was only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
First podcast I'd ever done. Now I'd talk to hundreds of people all the time and helping people at meetups and doing all those things, but I'd never been a guest on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I go on his podcast. I meet Cody Barton from this because I give out my cell phone stupidly. And I get a text message from 200 people that day. 200 freaking people send me a text message because Steve at the time was doing a live show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get 200 text messages from people that day. Cody Barton sends me a text and he says, hey, I actually have a lot of leads that I'm not good at closing. It seems as if, as long as you're not lying on the podcast, seems like you're a good closer.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you please meet with me and work my leads for me? Yeah. That's where that came from. My business partner that now him and I own $30 million worth of businesses, another $15 million of real estate. I met that person through Steve Trang's podcast. Mm-hmm. Now here's what happened with me and Cody. The first day we sat down and met, which was about 3 days after I was on Steve Trang's podcast, we met in McDonald's lobby.
Yeah.
Like humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people look at us now and they're like, oh, you guys are all.
Did you eat?
I ate. Hell yeah. Freaking double Big Mac, y'all. Right? Like extra pickles, extra onions, Big Mac. Cody didn't eat anything.
When was the last time you guys had a Big Mac? I'll tell you what, they're delicious.
Oh, are you? Hell yeah, they're delicious.
I mean, it's rare that I go, but
Mitch Pomeroy, good to see you, brother.
So good.
So here's what happens. We sit down. Homeboy doesn't eat. I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's like, oh, I'm on this diet and everything. You know. I'm like, all right, bro, open up your laptop. Let's see your leads.
Yeah.
If you have all these leads, show them to me. So he shows his leads to me. He has 40 leads that he qualified as pretty good. I go, give me the top 10.
Yeah.
I leave to a stage thing. It was a small stage I was speaking on in West Palm Beach. I fly, I'm on break, and I call the first seller, and I close that seller. Her name is Desiree. I've actually called her on the podcast multiple times.
Yeah.
I close Desiree, $110,000 purchase price. I contract it under Cody's name. I assign it to myself for 120 so Cody can make 10 grand. I take that 120. I assign it for 140. Jamil actually sold the deal for me. I made 20. I don't know what Jamil made above that.
40.
Probably 80. Probably something like that. Who knows? So that was my first deal with Cody because of the podcast. This relationship starts compounding. What was cool about this deal that I got with Desiree, it was my first private money lender that I asked.
Oh, that's right.
I asked the sellers, the first time I ever asked a seller, hey, seller, what are you going to do with the cash once you sell the house? And Desiree's like, I'm going to pay off a car. I'm going to do all this other stuff. I'm like, what do you do, Dave Ramsey? Like, get the hell out of here with that. Give me your $110,000 and I'll deploy it into these subto deals that I've got. I still have her $110,000 5 years later. Then she's like, well, I was going to use the money to buy the house I'm living in. I go, no, forget that. Let me meet your landlord and I'll convince your landlord to sell the house that you're renting from him on seller finance. Yeah. So I sit down with Desiree. I help her buy the deal, 0 down, 4% interest, 30-year note in a house she was renting. She's now owning, which is amazing.
Yep.
She then, without talking to me, goes and buys this dude's 40 other properties over the preceding 3 years. She buys all of his entire portfolio, all in seller finance. She has helped me raise $15 million because I keep paying her every single month. And she posts it on social media. She tells all these traveling nurses. I've raised $15 million because of this lady. She went and bought 40 properties, changed her entire freaking life. And I'm sitting here going, that was because of the consistency of Steve Trang showing up every single day and doing his podcast. Now, what was tough, and I want to point this out to people that are taking notes and thinking about consistency. What did Steve Trang do during COVID? He shut down his podcast and he lost all his momentum. So this is the challenging part of life. The challenging part of life is you can't stop. The day that you stop working is the day that you die. Or you should only stop working when you do die, right? Because then you essentially...
Well, your assets should be working for you.
Yeah, but still, like, what's keeping you passionate? How are you helping change people's lives?
Sure.
What's your purpose? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Steve Trang had this really interesting thought process. He says, well, it's COVID, so I'm not going to do the show unless people can physically be on my show.
Yeah.
And so I even want to compliment Steve for being consistent in that, where he's like, no, my show was my show was my show. I'm not changing that freaking thing. So anyway, the point of all of this is consistency and the compound effect of like, I know what Steve Trang's show did for me from one episode. What do you think 4 years of our show has done for the entire industry?
Sure.
Friends that have been made, deals that have been done, private money lenders that have deployed capital, wholesale deals that have been done right here in the live chat, partnerships that have been formed. For 4 years, the compound effect that Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji, and Pace Morby, in our little teeny little world, we have made a difference. I know we have.
Well, especially for the people that are in there, in the chat right now, saying where they're at, trying to connect with people. I mean, that's what it's all about. The squad up. And speaking of squad up summit, Orlando.
Squad Up Summit, Orlando, April 23rd, 24th, 25th this year. We've already sold, I believe, 1,800 tickets. That is insanity. We have 2 more months until the event, so we will be completely sold out. We have gotten Grant Cardone committed, Cody Sanchez committed, and one of my very favorite people on the planet, Donald Mother freaking Miller,
Nice.
is committed as well.
He's great.
Oh my gosh.
He is absolutely phenomenal.
So good. And what Donald Miller will do for you guys is in 45 minutes, Donald Miller will get you to walk away going, I know exactly what my business is. I know exactly how to articulate what my business is to somebody else. And I have such mental clarity on my path going forward for the next 12 months that nothing can deviate me. He is one of these like shiny object destroyers. And so really excited about that. Go to squatupsummit.com. And for any of you guys that are coming, please, in the side chat, make sure you guys are collaborating with each other in the side chat saying, hey, let's room up together. There is a Facebook group. Once you buy your ticket, you get put into a Facebook group, and a lot of people are rooming together. They're Airbnb-ing together. They're traveling together. The best part about these events are the friendships and the relationships that you'll build when you are there.
Yeah.
Are you going to be doing your event this year?
Yeah. No.
Why not? That was sick.
Yeah, it was a great event.
Too much work?
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
It's not that. I mean, we had a great time with our summit, but we just got other things that we want to focus on. You know what I mean?
Anything you want to share?
We're a small company. You know what I mean? We're a smaller company, and I like it small. I like the team that I have. And so we'll figure something out. What I would like to do is I like doing virtual events each month and bring in incredible guests that can come on, do like an action workshop on a specific part of real estate. And I think that would be more impactful than, some of that. But
I could not agree even more.
But the connections face to face, meeting up with people are so powerful. It is. And we get asked every day when the summit's going to be, and maybe we'll do it next year. But this year it's just, we've got kind of our plan of smaller events that are virtual.
Speaking of like flash from the past, and we'll get into some Q&A, some conversations today. Do you guys remember when we went out and supported Steve Trang at Max Maxwell's massive wholesale event that had 1,000 people at?
Yeah.
I just drove by that airport, or I'm sorry, not by the airport. The venue at the Hilton Anatoly in Dallas, Texas. What an amazing event that was. Such an amazing, memorable time. That was when we were still attending conferences, not speaking on the stages. And it was basically just like high school all over again, just having so much fun in the hallways, going to the restaurants and having a blast. Jamil, you had somebody that was basically stalking you, trying to sleep in your room with you. His name was Robbie or something like that. I forget his name.
You know his name, don't you?
Yeah, I know his name.
Oh, okay.
I just
Robba. Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, you know what? I had called it too. Remember, guys? I'm like, listen, I don't want to get a room with 2 beds, because if I get a room with 2 beds, this Robba guy is going to try to sleep in my room. He's so cheap. I can tell you, I know he's not going to get his own room. This cheap MFer is going to try and sleep in my hotel room. And then he was chasing me around that entire night. I was trying to duck him, dodge him. Do you remember, Pace? I got myself a shitty room just so I didn't have 2 beds.
Yeah.
I had a choice between one room that was a corner suite with 2 beds and one room that didn't even have a window in it that had 1 bed. And I chose that room so that I didn't have a reason to let Mr. Rabba be in my room. And lo and behold, he found a way to get into my room.
He found his way. He still found his way.
It was interesting, that event. Max Maxwell had Gary Vee come out, and we had these VIP tickets to go in and hang out with Gary Vee, right? And Annie from Batch was with us. This is like right when Batch was launching. This is just history in the making. It was just so cool, all of us running out there and doing that to support Steve. But Robbie stole Annie Dragonova's VIP ticket to go visit Gary Vee.
Yeah.
So Annie almost couldn't get into the room. She had to like pull up her receipt and show them. She's like, I swear I had my ticket on me like 2 minutes ago. She comes into the room.
He's there taking pictures with.
Oh, he's
Gary
in there.
Vee.
Oh, and he would not leave Gary Vee alone. And Gary Vee's like, bro, get off me type of thing. She does get a chance to ask her questions. But afterwards at dinner, she looks over at his ticket and she's like, is that my ticket? He's like, no, this is my ticket. I went and bought it like right before, like from a guy from Craigslist. And she flips over the ticket and it has her name on it.
Her name on it.
And her name's Annie Dragonova. I mean, it's not even close.
Oh my gosh, what a great time! We've had such a great life together, and these fun stories they're made at going to.
Last one. Do you remember how he wouldn't like we kept taking turns paying for meals.
Yeah.
And then there was this one time where I don't know who it was. They were like, Mr. Rabba, you're going to cover dinner tonight.
It was Annie. Annie was so pissed off about him stealing her ticket that night at dinner, we had 21 people around this table in like a very expensive hotel up at the top, like penthouse. This is like $400 a dinner type of venue.
Yeah.
And Annie goes, "You're paying for freaking dinner, Rabba." And he loses his, this is bullshit. Oh, this is not fair. Everybody had been paying for his meals for the 3 days prior.
Yeah.
And so Annie calls him out. Jamil, do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I totally remember what happened. He said, okay. I'll cover drinks and appetizers.
I'll cover drinks and appetizers. Everybody's been covering his food. Basically, this is what happened. You guys don't know the whole story. Here's the story. You got to be careful of people that run around saying they're the biggest wholesaler in Houston when they haven't even done a wholesale deal. They can't even afford a hotel room. This is what they did. This guy did.
He is the epitome of fake it before you make it.
When people say fake gurus, this is exactly who they're talking about. So this guy, he comes into our crew. He just kind of wedges himself in. You know, you get those people, and that's fine. Sometimes you warm up to him. Sometimes you don't. We were like red blood or white blood cells, like attacking this guy like he was a disease. Or we're trying to get him out of the body.
Yeah.
And we're at this big event in Dallas. And even people from Houston, where this guy's from, were like, we don't want to hang out with Pace, Jamil, Brent, Annie, all these other people, because they're hanging out with Robbie, this freaking weirdo guy that we know is a liar and is not actually doing any deals. But we didn't know that yet. We found out because he would not go to his own hotel room. Turns out he didn't have one. He would sleep in Jamil's room and kick Jamil out of his own room because the guy couldn't afford his own hotel room. We would bounce around the city and buy, we would all take turns buying dinner for each other, type of thing. This guy always had a phone call to take when the bill came, right? It was like that.
He was doing business.
He's the biggest wholesaler in all of Houston.
He's got a lot of calls,
So when he stole Annie's ticket, he had alligator arms, right? Like I'm not touching that bill.
No.
When he stole Annie's ticket, everybody realized, whoa, this dude's a thief, a liar, a manipulator. And so that night at dinner, it was Steve Trang's birthday, actually. It was a big celebration dinner. Annie stands up. She's like, Rabba is buying dinner. He stands up, loses his mind. He's like, oh, no. I'm buying only appetizers. I'll buy appetizers. Nobody ordered appetizers. So then she convinces him to at least pay for drinks.
Yeah.
Guys, I felt bad watching this because I sat next to Annie and she felt bad. At the end of dinner, he had to go and separate the bill from appetizers and drinks from the rest of dinner. He had to split it up between 4 cards to pay for this. It was probably $600. It made me feel bad.
Sure.
But it also, I was like, this guy's running around acting like he's bigger than he was.
Right.
Meanwhile, there were 2 people in our crew that had actually never done a deal before. So it's like, bro, why do you have to pretend like you're doing bigger things than you are? Like, just be yourself. You don't have to be this big hotshot guy. But anyway, we've had a lot of fun together.
And then he followed Jamil home.
Yeah. He followed Jamil home to Phoenix.
Wanted to drive his cars and stay at his house.
Yeah. We've had a lot of fun over the years, man. It is so fun. So fun. And it's honestly, this last, 6-7 years of us all hanging out with each other has been really just a warm up for what is really meant for us.
Yep.
and where we're really heading. So it's really cool and so grateful to see so many people in the side chat today celebrating 4 years with us. And, I've got some amazing community members in here. Mitch Pomeroy from Fresno. You're not in Fresno anymore. You're in Vegas.
Las Vegas, baby.
Awesome.
You moved there for tacos?
Tacos and taxes.
Bro, and taxes. Tacos. Ooh, that's a great spot. I'm going to start a business where you can get your taxes done and tacos at the same freaking time. Love that. My wife, check this out. My wife says, shout out to my wife. Just killing it, killing the game. 4 babies. She flew out last week and surprised me in Dallas, Texas. I was FaceTiming her on Tuesday. I went from Orlando to Tampa to Dallas, and I was speaking on stages, doing all the things. And my wife FaceTimes me on Tuesday, and she says, how's it going? I wish I had 2 of me. I wish I had one person that was just at home, and the other person that was connecting with my community. And, my greatest passion is obviously my family and my wife, but my second passion is being out here with the community
Sure.
members and hanging out. And so my wife was like, all right, I know what to do. She jumps on a plane with 3 kids and comes and hangs out with me and surprises me for my birthday and watches me speak on stage at Aspire. And just shout out to my wife. She's been just unbelievable. But she says, I used to take baby Corbin on walks around our neighborhood to listen in to Wholesale Hotline.
That's right.
Freaking cool.
Awesome.
Freaking cool.
What were you talking about with cockroaches?
I was talking about the,
Have you heard this? Have you heard this speech?
Who's
that
heard
Pace
about my
does?
speech, my cockroach speech? You're a cockroach, right? Did you heard me on stage? You were at Aspire. That was great, right? Race Fest. Yeah, I just was talking about how everybody wants to be perfect.
Right.
Everybody wants to be, you know, when you're growing up, it's like, what kind of dinosaur do you want to be? What's your favorite dinosaur? It's like, oh, Triceratops or Brontosaurus or T-Rex. Bro, I'm a T-Rex. I'm a raptor, bro. I'm a velociraptor. Boom. You know what I want to be? None of those things, because all them suckers are dead. I want to be an ugly, disgusting cockroach because they last and last and last. They've outlasted every species on planet Earth. And the messaging there was basically do it imperfectly, just do it every single day. Show up like a cockroach. And I had a woman stop me as I was leaving Race Fest, and she's like, dressed to the nines, perfect earrings, perfect makeup, perfect everything. She says, I have spent my whole last 10 years more stressed out about what I look like than what I'm actually doing. And your message was like the most important message I could have heard today was thank you. And she sent me a message. She went home and made a cockroach t-shirt, and she sent me a photo in my DM saying, hey, I'm a cockroach now. I'm a cockroach. And hundreds of people are like, I'm a cockroach. I'm a cockroach. I'm a cockroach. I'm imperfectly showing up every single day. I'll outlast everybody because the secret to all of this stuff is just showing up every day. That's it.
That's it. Jamil, I was telling Pace, there's a study I read, I don't know, a few years ago, or I don't know, maybe even 10 years ago, that people that panhandle, right? People that beg on the streets make more than the average realtor.
That is statistically proven, by the way. It's no joke. It is.
You guys,
true.
Let that settle in real quick. Like people motivated to whatever nefarious ends, or just to make ends meet, just out there asking for money, have a better presentation than realtors. You know what I mean? They have more drive. They show up more than most people in real estate.
Yeah. And
it was a study on with realtors, and it was a whole thing. But I would say even for real estate investors, people getting less paperwork.
You're gonna have
good
real
Kihana.
estate agents walking into listing appointments going like this. All right, let's get to it.
They probably get more deals. I don't know. You know, they'd be more motivated, but just showing up, I mean, listen, people, if you have a conversation with other human beings every single day, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you will win.
Yeah. You
will win. And you can have a conversation through text messages. You can have a conversation face to face. You can have a conversation over the phone. You can DM, whatever it is. But you have to talk to people every single day, new people every single day. And if you truly have passion about what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, and you really think that you're providing value, then it should get easier and easier and easier and easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With time. That's showing up.
Yeah,
that's
we did
being a cockroach. That's doing that every single day and doing it long. It's going to take longer than you think.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to take you a lot longer.
Is it going to be harder than you think?
Absolutely.
Is it going to cost more than you think?
It's going to challenge every instinct that you have.
Yeah.
It will. I mean, there's some naturals out there that just nobody's a stranger. You know what I mean? And they're just making friends everywhere, and they could just chat anybody up about anything. But for everybody else, it takes so much courage, and it takes so much consistency. And sometimes you have to lose everything to be able to find that courage. You know what I mean? I hope not. And that's why, we come on here every Monday to give you guys as much as we can so that you can go out and start taking action and finding opportunities, whether it's a creative deal or whether it's a wholesale deal. I mean, it's still having conversations with property owners.
I just texted Rob Raba to see if he'll join us on Wholesale Hotline next Monday. He's like, absolutely.
Oh yeah. You gotta buy him a computer though.
That's actually very accurate. I love this. I love this. Guys, it is Wholesale Hotline after all. So we have a couple people in the comments that are like, I'm here for the first time to talk about wholesaling.
Cool.
We should talk about wholesaling, please, is what they're basically saying in the sideline. He actually said, does anybody here actually wholesale is what he said.
A couple times.
Oh, I love it. Raccoon Thieves. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. One thing that I can tell you about wholesaling, the most foundational element of wholesaling is that you need.
Does that mean that he steals raccoons or he's a raccoon that steals?
Raccoon Thieves. Dang it.
No,
That's a great question, bro.
I think his last name is Thieves.
Oh, okay. Got it.
First name Raccoon, last name Thieves.
Oh, it's his Christian name. Okay.
Yeah.
His God-given
formal
name.
government name. Got it.
The foundational element that everybody needs when you are wholesaling is mindset.
Yep.
And friendships.
Sure.
Right. The ability to collaborate with other people that have the answers that you don't have. I had this really cool thing happen to me about 4 months ago. I fly home from Dallas. I go to the valet in the airport. I don't park in long-term parking. I'm not spending that extra time. I don't know.
They just whisk you away. I was in first class with them. Yes, that's the only way we fly.
Oh, that's right.
And then all of a sudden, like this group of like, I don't even know, drivers and like some other gal.
Yeah,
was
concierge.
Like, come with us, Pace Morby. And then they just whisk him out the like side of the
airplane
thing that you walk down to get off an airplane. And he's just walking down the stairs into like a baby car on the tarmac. I'm like,
very
what
true.
is happening?
This does happen to me.
This guy flies way too much.
I fly a lot.
If he's late for a flight, he has a phone number for a lady he can call, and they'll hold the plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
they
very
will
true.
hold the plane.
Yeah, they'll hold the plane up to 7 extra minutes for me.
Why even take private planes? That's like the best ever.
It feels like private because here's what's cool about my status. It's called concierge key. Like most people don't even know it exists. My status is so high that if you check in with me, even if you checked in coach, they will upgrade you to first class because you are in my entourage.
That's right.
It's gangster. It's like so good. So like Eric Ballman, my videographer, will fly with me and he'll just buy a coach ticket and then he'll get bumped up sitting back there with champagne hanging out, like, and he got it all for free, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to my valet. I fly in, I go to my valet. He hands me my keys and he says, "Hey, it's been really nice, being your valet for the last year." I go, "Cool. Yeah, man, you're the best, dude. I appreciate you." His name's Brian. And he said, "I just want to say thank you. Today's my last day." I go, "Oh, cool. You getting another job?" He goes, "No, I made $180,000. I found you from Wholesale Hotline. I joined the subto community and I've been in the community." I'm like, "How have I not met you? And you've made $180,000 He's like, "I just did what you told me to. I networked with other students and I did deals with them and I opened my effing mouth. And now today's my last day." So he called me today.
Ring that bell, baby. Ring that bell for him.
Okay. Bada bing, bing, bing. He then calls me today and he goes, "Hey, I have a problem on a deal." And he says, "I need a lender on a deal. Will you connect me?" And I go, "Yeah, do you mind if I make money on connecting you with the lender?" He's like, "No, I don't mind at all." So it's interesting, like these relationships compound and you'll end up making money with each other for the rest of your life. Like Mitch, I can't even imagine how many deals you've done inside the community and helped so many freaking people, whether it's lending or helping them structure deals or whatever it is. My point is this. My point is it's all about relationships. It's all about the people in the side chat. So if you are in here and you're like, "Yo, I wish they would just get to the nuggets." Well, we done did that. We've been on here for 4 years. Sometimes we can talk a little shit on our own podcast and we can have a little bit of fun in the very beginning, but we keep the side chat open and popping for you guys to have that party. You got Landon Moore here. You got Dan Quijano here. You got Ingrid Hernandez. You've got freaking Carly Grunman and amazing people in the side chat that are doing a lot of deals. Make sure you take the time and connect to those people, especially if you're new. That is the foundational element. Nisha Hyde, she was complaining to me the other day. She says, "I've only done 8 deals." I'm like,
I like that, Nisha.
Ask the people who have never done a deal if they would take your position.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, that's a really great point." I go, "Do you remember when you were struggling to get your first deal and the mindset you had?" I go, "Do you remember that?" She says, "Yes, I remember." "Would you trade that for anything to go back to that?" She goes, "Absolutely not. I don't want to go back to that. like, then be grateful for your 8 freaking deals. So she is also in the side chat too. She's 8 deals ahead of somebody in the side chat. So take the time and the energy to connect with people in the side chat, squat up with each other.
I like that, Nisha, though. Keep that hunger.
Yes.
Don't just get a deal and stop. Don't get a couple deals and stop. Keep growing. Push it. You have so much potential. Everybody does. Everybody has incredible potential. And the fact that we could go out and just have a conversation with a property owner today, tomorrow, the next day, and one conversation, like you were saying, could turn into a hard money lender.
Yep.
Somebody that's going to help you raise more for $15 million from one conversation.
I have a hard time talking to people at this point in my career because I want to talk to everybody in the room, but what happens, I talk to one person, I find 15 different ways to make money with that one person.
Yep.
And so I don't get to get all the way around the room because there's so many different ways to make money with that person. And most people are just like, I'm going to get a deal from that person. It's like, well, what if they're doing deals on their own and you can't wedge yourself into that? What if they need private money? What if they need a referral? Like even Ryan LaRue, who, oh, look, Ryan LaRue is right here. Check this out. I'm so funny. Okay. That Ryan LaRue is in the side chat today. Ironic that he's in here today because I'm gonna tell a really quick story. I needed a high level operator in my business 2 years and 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Ryan LaRue found that person for me, and I paid him $10,000.
Oh yeah,
a $10,000 human assignment fee.
Yeah.
He wholesaled a human being to me. Her name is Molly Tennant. You guys know Molly Tennant? She came from Ryan LaRue 2.5 years ago. And so, guys, it's a lot more than, in fact, Ryan actually texted me, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. He goes, hey, I've got another amazing person that I found that you should hire. Will you pay me to hire this person? I go, you need to stop being a little bitch and hire her yourself. So he hired her himself, and his business is basically doubled because he hired that person. So collaboration, hanging out with each other, bro, there's so many more pieces of value in here than just getting one wholesale deal or a private money lending thing. Every single need. Oh, look, now what's ironic is Ryan is saying right here, he says, I need Molly, who he found for me, and I paid him 10 grand for, to call Sydney to help train her, who he just hired. Welcome to collaboration and being friends with each other. The circle just continues and continues.
That's it.
Can I tell you about a fun thing that I'm working on?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, I was at Closers Octagon with Quijano. You did a great job as a judge. People had so much fun freaking watching you. And thank you so much for coming and supporting. Cool. Oh, bro.
Yeah.
You're so many people's heroes. So I was sitting there thinking like about Robert Allen.
Yep.
Okay. So who doesn't know the story?
You get
Robert
a lot
Allen?
of parallels to.
You don't know Robert Allen. Okay. Let me tell you a story about Robert Allen. You guys cool? Story time for a second. So Robert Allen writes a book called Nothing Down. This is written in 1980s. Okay.
He wrote a Nothing Down for the 90s too.
Yes.
Or was it 2000s?
It was the updated
2000s,
version.
Yeah.
The updated version was written 23 years ago.
Yeah.
Talking about creative finance. Okay. And he writes this great book called Nothing Down in the 80s. And it kind of pops off a little bit. Like it gets really, really popular to the point where the LA Times reaches out to him and his publicist and says, we think you're full of shit. And we want to challenge you to a contest to see if you can actually do what you say you can in this book. His publicist calls Robert Allen and says, there's no effing way that you're taking this, but I just want to let you know the LA Times is kind of talking a little bit of shit. And Robert says, call him back up and tell him I want to take that challenge. They can take me anywhere in the country, give me $100 and 72 hours, and I will get a deal with no money down. Oh my gosh. This guy's a gangster, like straight up, just the nerdiest gangster you'll ever meet in your life. So he flies to LA Times. They sign this agreement that if he wins, they're going to do a full page front of the LA Times, like expose on how awesome he is. If he loses, he's going to leave the business forever. You think this guy, anybody want to buckle under that pressure? That's crazy, right?
And he was doing a lot of like TV commercials. I mean, he was like the infomercial guy, right? So they're like, this guy,
they're like, F this guy. We want to take this guy down.
Yeah.
So he flies out to the LA Times in LA, signs the agreement, and he goes, all right, where are we going? Now they're giving him a physical reporter to follow him side by side, like attached to him, basically. And they go, we're flying you to San Francisco. You're starting in downtown San Francisco, and you got to buy a piece of quality real estate, not a piece of crap, a piece of quality real estate with no money down in 72 hours, or else we're going to have this reporter show everybody that you're a scam artist. He goes, no problem. Flies to downtown San Francisco, hands the $100 to him, starts the clock. Boom. He runs directly over to a hot dog stand, buys a $1 hot dog with his $100. He has $99 left, and he asks for change in dimes. Why?
Yeah.
Because this is back in the day when you made phone calls with dimes. This is, dropping a dime, as Sublime would say. Any Sublime fans in here? All right.
Oh, yeah.
All of us old people, right? So
It's
he
a different
starts
kind of dime.
It's different. Yeah, very true. So he's dropping dimes, right? Making phone calls, and he's calling agents. He goes through his first $10, makes 100 calls. He's like, holy crap, I just burned through 10% of all my money.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I just go get a hotel room with the freaking phone already in the hotel room? Because I got to sleep here tonight. Goes over, gets the hotel room booked, $17 in the red light district, makes the reporter split the $17 with him because he's trying to save the money. So they're both, the reporter's laying on the bed. It's like maybe 9:30 at night. Robert's been in the hotel room for about 4 hours at this point, cranking phone calls. And he's calling agents, just saying, hey, my name is Robert G. Allen. I'm new to town. I'm looking for a quality piece of real estate that I can put no money down on, and that we can sign a contract tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going straight for the jugular. Like, desperation, this is what you got to do type of thing. And he gets a call back at like 9:30 at night from a real estate agent. She says, hey, is this Robert? I've got 2 pieces of real estate that the seller will sign with you tomorrow. Can you meet us at the house tomorrow at 11 o'clock? Here's the address. Here's the thing. He hangs up, writes the thing down. He goes, I got two houses, Mr. Reporter. The reporter is laying in the bed next to him. And he's like, you are so full of crap. You called somebody on the payphone. You said some like magical words that they knew when to call you back. You were doing some sort of code that they could call you back and act as an agent. This is such crap. I cannot wait to expose you tomorrow. So they go to the appointment the next day, 11 o'clock, meet the agent, meet the seller. They sign the contracts. They buy the pieces of real estate. They're both very nice houses, no money down. Seller's going to pay the agent both the commissions to seller finance both of these houses to Robert G. Allen. The reporter goes through and does fact checks on both of these people and finds out, holy crap, this is actually real. This dude just freaking did it. He did it in like 12 hours. He bought real estate with no money down. He still has $80 left or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at Robert G. Allen. He says, all right, I'm going to call the LA Times. Can I use your phone, Mr. and Mr. Seller? I need to call the LA Times to get us a flight booked. And Robert grabs his hand.
Yeah.
And he goes,
he's not done.
I got 54 more hours. And he goes and buys 5 more pieces of real estate in the next 54 hours with that $100. Obviously getting the red light district hotel and all that kind of stuff. Now, the point of this story.
Well, the way that he tells it too, that Robert tells it is the reporter ended up being one of his students.
Yes.
The guy bought into his course after this whole thing.
This is the realest thing ever.
Why isn't everybody doing this?
Now, what's cool is they go back and they write a front page article. You should go look it up. Type it up on Google right now on your phone, on your little Androids, and go type in Robert G. Allen, LA Times, and then go to images. And you're going to see an image where it says, real estate investor challenges the Times and wins. This blows this guy's brand up to a stratospheric level. He starts opening for Tony Robbins. He's in Taiwan. He's all over the world. This guy becomes the hottest commodity in all of real estate. Okay. What's the point of this? Here's the point of the story. 1, it's a good story. 2, creative finance has been around a lot longer than I've been alive. Okay. And I want people to understand that because I don't tell people I invented creative finance. I tell people our community has perfected it. And we've also invented new ways to do it and better ways to do it, which has been a lot of fun. But the main reason I tell you this story is what happens is the New York Times, about 4 years later, challenges Robert G. Allen on the other coast. And they say, of course you could do it, Robert G. Allen.
Mm-hmm.
You're Robert G. Allen.
Yeah.
You have a G in the middle of your name. That stands for gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, of course you can do it. But could you actually show somebody else how to do that in that short time frame? So Robert G. Allen goes and writes the book called The Challenge. And it's basically a documentary. He's following along in his own book. He goes to St. Louis and he goes to the unemployment line. People that are like literally going, I need money to pay tomorrow's bill. And he gets 5 people in that line to say, I volunteered to take your challenge. The challenge is, I'm going to turn you into a full-time real estate investor in the next 30 days. You'll never see the unemployment line ever again in your life. And you'll have not only all your bills are paid, but you'll have $5,000 in your pocket by the end of these 30 days. Now, this is 1985. $5,000 is about $20,000 in today's money, something like that, about between 15 and 20,000 bucks. So guess what? He does it. He takes 5 random people out of the unemployment line and in 30 days turns them into full-time real estate investor. I've met 3 of these people in person, by the way, 40 years later. They're still like in his world, his ecosphere. So I look at that and I'm like, I think I want to do this. Mm-hmm. I think I want to do a nationwide challenge.
You've been talking about it for a while.
I've been talking about it. And I'm like, what's the format? What's the really fun format? Is it, now I did, you guys saw on with like Robin Hurt. I did it with Robin Hurt. We ended up getting her 3 deals. I think she ended up making about 20,000 bucks. We got her part ownership in a 20 unit deal. I've done this for other people, but we did a poor job of documenting it. Like I just did it behind the scenes. We did deals with her.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to do this as a community challenge where I will choose somebody randomly. This will be Q3 of this year. I will choose somebody random in the community that's maybe been inside of our ecosphere for the last couple of years. It's like, I have still not done a deal. Okay, cool. I'm moving to your town. I'm bringing my wife. I'm bringing my kids. We are going to live in our Airstream in an RV park, and I'm going to be your partner for 7 days. And not only am I going to set up a business, I'm going to help you set up your business. I'm going to accommodate you as an individual. So let's say it's a single mom, 2 kids. She only has an hour a day to work on her business. I'm going to create a business that only relies on her to apply an hour a day to her business for the rest of her life. I'm going to set her business up for success. What I'm going to do is, I don't know where that city is, but I'm then going to challenge the nation to do it with me. So the Mitch Pomeroys, for example, I'm going to say, Mitch, in Vegas, I want you to find somebody in our community that has not done a deal yet. And I want you to dedicate an hour or 2 hours a day, every single day for 7 days to help them get their first deal done. Mm-hmm. And my goal is to get 250 people, so 5 people per state on average, to help 250 other people get their first deal in a week time frame. So I want to show people, I think the biggest flex is not getting a deal yourself at this point. Like, Mitch, if you told me you got a deal tomorrow, do you think I'd be impressed by you? No.
No.
But I'm going to tell you this, though. We did 3 0% down deals this week.
Nice.
Mitch Pomeroy out of Vegas says he did 3 0 down deals, the 0% down deals. Where are the houses?
Texas and Arizona.
Who's keeping?
Can you come here and tell us about
Who's
them?
keeping the Arizona deal?
Tell us about them.
Are you assigning it?
Bring that chair right there.
So this is kind of something actually we're looking to do. I think when you guys saw
Right here. This is Mitch Pomeroy, guys. He used to be in Fresno.
3 deals, 0% down
up, y'all?
this week.
Where? What are you doing with the Arizona deal? Why aren't you selling this to me?
We're wrapping it, baby.
Oh,
Okay.
In fact, this is how crazy we found the wrap buyer. So we drove to the property this week. So how did we get the deal? Somebody had a problem. We found the bunnies and told them, hey, look, they were going to lose money on the deal. And I said, hey, I'll tell you what, if I buy the deal from you right now, I'll give you 25.
Will you pull that microphone closer to
Sure.
you? It'll come right to you. There you go.
So what happened was we just told them, hey, look, they were about to.
No, but tell us the nitty gritty. Like,
The nitty-gritty.
how did you find out about these deals?
Okay. They were in the community.
Okay, so you're in Subto community.
In Subto community.
And somebody had put them under contract?
Somebody had purchased or invested in a property, and it just didn't work out, and they couldn't get the deal sold in time, and they didn't plan to hold them for a long period of time, right? So they had actually borrowed some money to get the deal. They did it, and they just didn't have the money to continue making the payments. So they were at the point where they said, hey, you know what? If you can give me half the money that I have in the deal, I'll just sign it over to you. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, I'll tell you what, I can give you that. Or if you want, I'll give you 50 grand in a year if you take no money down right now. Mm-hmm. And I'll take your payments over right now. You don't have to do anything else with it. I'll give you a second trust deed, and I'll give you all your money back in a year. And it was that simple.
And it had enough room in the deal.
Yeah.
that in a year you can give them 50. So what are you going to do in a year? You're going to sell it? You're going to refinance it?
Okay. So we drove all weekend doing content and properties.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we were actually driving around to 6 of our properties that we bought on subto. We were walking up to the door, and has anybody ever seen when somebody sticks like a landscaping card or a solar card or whatever? We're like, hey, one of my partners is in the crowd. I say, hey, call them. So we called them and we sold it to the landscaper.
Awesome.
One of
Very
the deals.
smart.
Yeah.
Super smart.
He didn't buy that property. He bought another property we had though.
Wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
On a ramp.
Why is calling a Hispanic landscaper a good idea?
Self-employed. Maybe they can't get qualified for a bank. They didn't, the bank doesn't like their tax returns. If anybody doesn't know, 65% of everybody who applies for a loan gets denied.
Right.
So we're talking contractors.
Somebody was telling me only 18% of the country is financeable.
Yeah. Especially right now, during these times.
That's wild.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
so just so that people understand, so you get this property at what price?
We bought that one. It was like right in the 500 range.
Okay, so it's 500.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to give whoever brought you that 550, or are you going to give them 50?
Yeah, it's like 3.7% interest rate.
Okay, so you're taking over the loan at 500.
Yep.
550.
Yep.
And then you're going to find a buyer for it you're going to wrap it.
So what we'll do is we'll increase the price probably 10% on top of that, and we'll seller finance it to them for 7.99 to 8.99.
Right.
And we'll arbitrage the interest rate.
So then you're 550 into it and you sell it to them for how much?
About 600.
600.
Yep.
And then how long's the loan that they have with you?
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
So you're going to wrap that in. So how do you get the 50 grand to the other guy?
So what'll happen is we'll take a deposit from a buyer coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, so let's just say, for example, what if we can only find a buyer that can only put down 25 grand?
Right.
So we'll take 25 grand down.
Yep.
We'll sell it. We'll give him half of his money at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we'll cash flow throughout the rest of the year.
Yep.
Most of the cash flow will end up paying his loan down at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is additional funds owed, we'll either pay it out ourselves, or what we'll probably do is we'll sell the note on a partial. And then we'll pay him off. So
sell the note on a partial means what?
So let's say, for example,
Just say sell the note. You don't need
sell
to
the
say on
note.
partial. So
sell the note.
There's entire buyers out there that are like, that note you created that you're arbitraging that 8%.
Mm-hmm.
I want to buy that.
Right.
These are like super passive investors that are like, I don't want to find deals. I don't want to manage things.
They want to be the bank.
You're basically you're basically selling them a turnkey rental, and they're just coming in and buying the note from you.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, that are engineers, doctors, nurses, they have self-directed IRA funds that are just sitting there collecting dust.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting 1 or 2%. These are the people you should be out raising capital from, either there or in Gator. We use Gator funds. We use self-directed IRA funds. We have PMLs. We have private money partners. When you're getting started, private money partners. Yeah. So, I mean, and the thing is all these people are in all the communities that we're working in. They're in Brent's, they're in yours, they're in Jamil's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the whole beauty of all these communities is collaborate, get out and do deals together.
Yep.
So, Mitch, how can people work with you?
So you can find me on IG, Cashflow Mitch. Also, we have a brand called Homester, which is focused on seller financing, creative finance deals to people who traditionally don't qualify for a mortgage.
Awesome.
So
Homester.
Thank you, brother.
That's a great name.
HOMESTIR.
He's
awesome.
For those of you guys who are in Subto or Gator, reach out to Mitch Pomeroy inside the Instagram or inside of the Facebook group. He's been a great leader in our community for 3 years.
Yeah, I started. I think I joined in January of 2021.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
4 years.
3 years.
Before you started.
I know, in Fresno.
Yeah.
Fresno Mitch.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
That was actually a really good meetup. You remember that big meetup we did in Fresno?
That place was incredible. It was the first time I'd ever seen like a lineup around a building to see us. It was pretty surreal.
Now, Sauza Loy, she says, what are the chances of you picking me for this challenge? What I've always done is when I am doing something fun like this, I always choose somebody who has made an effort, an obvious effort on their own.
Mhm.
I don't want to go work with somebody and know you haven't put in any effort. I'm going to go in and solve your problem. Sometimes you just need a buddy next to you to do the thing. Like a lot of the things I've learned from you is just because you told me to do them.
Yeah.
I don't want to go work with somebody that the second I'm gone, you're not working.
Right.
So it will be somebody that is taking action, somebody who is showing effort and just still hasn't gotten their first deal and might just need a little bit of a tweak. So anybody that wants to be selected for this, what's going to happen, by the way, my wife says you're a creative genius, Mitch. Jamil, I don't know if you'd be open to this challenge. Would you be open to this challenge with me?
Hell yeah, dude. Let's get it. Only on one condition. We go to wherever this 9 design guy is, and we hold him down, and I take a shit right inside of his mouth. Got all the shit he's been talking about today.
Who's 9 design?
No idea, but you want to get punched in the face, bro? Come see me. I'm in Phoenix.
Oh, this guy right here? Has he been just talking crap this whole time?
It's all good. Let's go, buddy.
Aren't you at a meditation retreat?
I haven't started yet. Starts tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow. Starts tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, this guy's actually pretty funny. He says you can't hit clean drifts on Forza because I'm thinking, damn shit, I was inhumane, focused more on taquitos. Come on now. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah, this punk.
That guy's great. Do y'all know how to properly flush a toilet that has been shit in? Oh my gosh, this guy's
Please
good.
don't ban him. Leave him in there.
Yeah.
We should leave him in there. Let's see if he can keep dropping good bombs today.
Jamil,
yeah, bro.
How's the wholesale world?
Bro, it's been absolutely on fire.
Yep.
There's just not enough deals at the moment right now to satisfy all the buyer appetite. It's
a lot of demand.
We're getting back into that point where they're starting to overpay again, like beyond what they kind of should be right now. Yeah. And so, I'm not worried about it. I don't think we're, that we're going to have a big run up or anything of that matter. But, again, we definitely are selling deals a lot skinnier than we had in the past. It's, the activity is absolutely ravenous right now.
Yeah. Why do you think it is?
Well, I think that people are expecting a lot over the next few months. Beyond that, right now, anything that the new construction that I've got, the flips that I have on the market, we are under contract in under 7 days on everything that I've been putting on the market right now.
Yeah.
So buyer activity is starting to definitely start to ramp up. I don't necessarily believe that's an all income or an all price points. I still believe $600,000 and below across the country is still extremely robust. I don't necessarily know above that price point how buoyant things are, but I can say that 600 and below, you're not going to have any problems.
Awesome. And is this nationwide? I mean, because you've got franchises everywhere.
Yeah, nationwide. We've seen this demand nationwide. And it's the similar story with buyers across the board. Similar story. They're not only buying right now for their current projects, but they're holding because they're expecting things to get worse, more expensive, and so they want to start banking for projects after the fact. So it's people are starting to hoard projects.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting thinking about what interest rates will do. Like I had a meeting with my asset team looking at a little over 100 of our rentals. We're like, hey, we bought these back in 2018 and 19 when we were door knocking heavy for foreclosures. We bought a ton of subto deals in the end of 2018. And I've got a bunch of properties that have accumulated a lot of appreciation. Like
I'm laughing at what Jamil said.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious. So, this is
it's
great.
Like hitting me now.
This
my God.
This is a good question right here. Oh, he said shit in my mouth, shit in your mouth. Yeah. You naughty boy. What was funny is he's like, yeah, I'm starting the meditation retreat tomorrow. So I'm trying to get it out right now.
we're just talking creative finance, and then bam, you
Boom.
never know what you're gonna get on this podcast. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So like
You ever
my
see me
team is
quiet?
looking
You know,
at,
there's something going on. I'll say that.
Yeah.
right. My team is making decisions to get ready for big refinances and pulling equity out of deals and doing cash out refinances and resetting the clock on some of our houses.
Yep.
And
What are you gonna do with them?
keep the houses. You know, they'll still cash flow even if we do a refinance and pull the cash out. And
No, what are you gonna do with the cash?
redeploy it.
Yeah.
Just keep redeploying it. Probably lend it for the most part. Like my lending business is averaging 32% a year, which is great.
Is that off of fees?
Yeah.
That's where the money's made.
Fees are, well, here's where the money's made in lending. Short loans,
Sure.
right? So it's like weird stuff where people go, I'm in a pinch. I need money for 10 days. It's like, oh, I can now kind of take advantage. This is why we call it gator, chomp, chomp. Like I'm taking a chunk out of your deal.
Right.
Or double closing is huge, especially like Illinois, doing a bunch of double closes in Illinois,
Sure.
which is really nice. So people that, I've got a wholesaler that made $70,000 on a deal. We double closed for him because he's like, I don't want anybody to know that I made $70,000 on this deal. So those types of deals, you're making 1%, maybe 2% in one day on your money.
Yeah.
But that averages, 700% when you annualize it.
Do it a bunch.
You do it twice
Be
a
the
week.
bank. Yeah.
Be the bank. So we'll pull the money out and redeploy it into the lending business and make money on the money, which is great. Just brokering money. It's a lot of fun. Derek Cahill says, can y'all hit on a few pros and cons on foreclosure auctions, please? We should bring Spencer Caldwell on here to talk about the auction process.
He would. Yeah. That'd be a great guest.
Be a fun guest. We should bring him on here. Jamil,
Yes,
what
sir.
are the pros and cons of foreclosure auctions, please?
Well, there's a lot of pros, right? First, you're going to be able to get that property. If you go to the courthouse and you're bidding at the courthouse steps, you're going to get that property that day. You're going to be able to take title or take possession of that property very quickly. So you're not dealing with an extended close of escrow. One of the drawbacks, in my opinion, is that you are in an emotional bidding situation. So now you've got multiple people that are all bidding you up. You're not making very measured decisions. Things are happening very quickly, and you might very fast overpay $10,000, $20,000 for a property that you didn't intend to overpay for. That becomes problematic. One of the other issues is you typically don't get to the inside of the property. So when you are bidding on a foreclosure property, what ends up happening is these bidding services have drivers that go around and do a drive report for you. And the best that they're going to be able to do is peek into the windows. They're looking into the backyard. They don't have access to the inside of the house. And so you're getting very limited information on what's going on. And I think the last thing that I would say is probably one of the biggest drawbacks in dealing with a foreclosure property is issues with the title. So there can be problems that pop up on these titles, and you're not always getting a special warranty deed in these circumstances. Sometimes you're only going to get a warranty deed or for that matter. And so there's going to be
After a Mexico,
After a Mexico vacation,
vac-
Christopher says, imagine getting crapped on by the wholesale genie. Sorry, girls. It's just a bunch of locker talking here.
Oh my God. Where did it go? So I think the scariest thing for me are going to be the things that pop up on title and not knowing what you're bidding on. So I've actually worked and talked with people before who went to the auction.
Yep.
They were thinking they were purchasing a house, and they come to find out they're buying a note in third position or second position, and they don't even get the house. And so you have to be so well versed in what position you're in, what encumbrances could pop off, what type of what the condition of the property is, and then also be able to emotionally manage yourself in that bidding situation. So, and from my perspective, I think that buying at the auction is not for newbies. It's not even for people that are intermediate in this business. You have to really know what you're doing if you're going to successfully navigate buying at the auction. Just my opinion.
Yeah, and everybody knows about it, right? Like it's a public auction. Everybody knows what properties are being sold that day. So you have professional company. I mean, you have companies that's what they do. They're professional bidders. right? And so I would highly suggest that you use a professional bidder, pay the $2,000 or the $3,000 or whatever it is to make sure that you buy the right property. And just understand how fast you have to bring in the cash. Here in Arizona, you have to pay cash within 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Within 20. So the
$10,000
next day you have to fund it.
10 grand non-refundable deposit due on site when you bid.
Instantly.
Yeah,
You
instantly.
literally have to have a physical check that you give them, a cashier's check that you give them if you win the bid. But yeah, like Jamil was saying, like there was times when I was bidding at the foreclosure auction, we would win a bid and somebody would come in all huffing and puffing and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, did this one already go?" And we go, "Yeah, we bought it." And he goes, "Well, I'll pay you 20 grand to take over your place."
Yeah.
Like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, so there is some of that, but
I think auctions are tough too because you've got the Good Old Boys Club, especially here in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes. If you go down to the auction and you try and bid on the house, these guys are strategically looking at each other going, let's make this person overpay for this property.
Yeah.
Or let's just completely rub them out.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have bidding services here in Phoenix, Arizona, where full-on companies are set up of like, hey, you want to be able to bid on a house? We're the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
There's 15 of us that actually know what we're doing. Spencer Caldwell's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the guest that we're talking about having coming on here. You pay him a $2,500 bidding fee where all he does is make money bidding for you because they don't let just anybody bid at the auction. It's ran by the mafia, the real estate mafia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier if you're on the outskirts.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier if you're on the outskirts. And that's what I would recommend. If be kind of in the path of progress, don't be in the main city, be in the county that's a little bit further out and it gets a little bit easier.
Are you talking like in terms of Arizona, like Pinal County or Yavapai or what do you
I would go like Coconino, Yavapai, some of the smaller, whatever Yuma is, you know what I mean? Like some of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Because you can still get, there's not a lot to go to foreclosure though.
2 a day.
Paces, all the sub-2 people are just snatching them up. So.
Truly, this is interesting. So Spencer Caldwell, who will be a guest on Wholesale Hotline, I'm texting him a couple weeks ago.
20,000 deals he's done.
Yeah.
20,000.
He's one of the probably 15 years. Yeah.
10,000.
He has a team of 2 people.
He at the height, he wholesales 10 deals a day.
Yeah. Now he's doing.
Now it's like 2 to 3 a day.
He's the only guy that does what he does that I'm aware of. He's the only guy, and he's such a great relationship person, so it makes sense.
He'll take our deals and send it to his list, and his list will pay him $2,500.
Yeah, it's really
right. So he doesn't increase.
It's a daisy chain without it being the craziness because he's aggregating everybody's deals, but because his buyers know what he's doing and that he's got that flat $1,500 fee on those properties, nobody minds using or buying from Spencer because they know that he's doing a lot of due diligence and curation on their behalf. So he's well worth the fee that he takes.
Yeah, he's great. Spencer owns a bidding service. And so he's working on the foreclosures here and also in 15 different states. He does bidding as well. And he says, when you launched the sub-2 community in Maricopa County, we were foreclosing on 8 houses a day.
Yeah.
Your sub-2 community saves about 3 people, 4 people a day from foreclosure. All these sub-2 people took like 50% of my business away from me. And so he's like, we get maybe 2, 3, sometimes 4 houses a day that gets foreclosed on, but it's your sub-2 community. Like the week before we go back and look at the houses, they've all had deed transfers, but the mortgages never got paid off. He's like, your sub-2 community is like saving all these people from foreclosure. He'll come on here and talk about it. It's really fun listening to the process. What I don't like about auctions is everything Jamil said. But I know a couple of people that do a really good job on the auctions. What they do is they see the houses that are coming up for auction. Oh, Jamil, you got somebody that's got a crush on you in the side chat.
Nice.
They're saying, okay, I can't even say what they're saying. This is, and I'll say some pretty atrocious stuff. This is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. It's atrocious. Everybody's looking in the comments right now. Like, oh my gosh, it's bad. I just removed the person, so just FYI, you're gonna miss out on some amazing stuff. So, there's a couple of guys here locally that do a good job. They go on the auction and they break into the houses that are going up on auction. You're not allowed to go into the houses. They'll break into them and they'll try and find the square footage that's
If they're
missing.
vacant.
If they're vacant.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are.
Yeah, they got this little like key pick gun. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Have you seen like locksmiths use it? It's like a little, and then they boop.
They'll
pop it
find
right open.
they'll
I'm like,
find
what?
data that's incorrect. So they'll go, okay, it has a 5th bedroom, but it says it's 4. Okay, that's a good deal. Because everybody else that's bidding on the auction is going off the fact that it's 4 bedrooms, not 5. So that's their strategy. They're like, that's how you beat the auctions, is you have to be the one that sneaks into the house, gets all the information, and finds out it has a basement when it doesn't list it as a basement, or says it has X amount of square footage, but it really doesn't. All sorts of interesting things. And I stay away from auctions. But it's a good, you can go to auction.com and buy these houses. I don't really think you're getting a good deal at this point.
I agree with you. I don't think you're getting
not
a
like
good deal.
the deals you get off market.
No,
not
off market's the way it's going.
Yeah.
In addition to that, you're typically paying a buyer's premium. Auction.com is going to charge you you know what the percentage is right now, Pace, for auction.com buyer's premium?
No.
I think it's like 5%.
Oof.
Oh, auction.com is charging 5% to buy a property off the auction?
Yeah, as a buyer's premium, meaning that on top of the amount of money that you have to pay for the property, which you're going to be bidding on. So there's all that, competition. In addition to that, you have to pay 5% buyer premium to auction.com in order for the right to buy the house.
If you're trying to buy a fix and flip, I've been showing this to people on my lives where people are like, I just really want to get my first fix and flip. I'm like, go to Keegley.com, go to properties, click on your state, and they've got 100 properties on there right now that you can buy and flip right now. Like, there's ways to make money. You don't have to go to auction.com. These properties are under contract, ready to go. And you just have to get hard money and I would find a partner that knows what they're doing, team up with them. Man, people like, you now got this guy named Ball Eater that's after you, bro. Like, I love that somebody took the time to like go create a name on YouTube called Ball Eater. Like, we're
creative people.
Who is this person? They need to be my friend. We need to understand who this person is. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Cooper Landing. What did you think about that immigration? Oh, the immigration conversation is such a great conversation. Right. So one of our sub-2 students.
It's Rob Raba.
It's Rob Raba. It probably is Rob Raba. So one of our sub-2 students was on CNN about a month ago. He's in South Texas.
Yep.
He's buying up houses, cash or creative finance, and he's turning around seller financing these houses to these immigrants coming into the country. And somebody came to him and it was like, what you're doing is illegal. And he's like, actually, no, this is legal. I can wrap these houses to these immigrant buyers. They're like, but they're non-residents of the United States. What does that have to do with anything? I can sell anything to anybody. And so seller finance, selling on wraps, selling on lease options has skyrocketed in Texas, Arizona, Southern California, because as these immigrants are coming in, they need a place to live. People won't even rent to them. It's easier for them to buy a house on creative finance than it is to even rent the property. So he's doing, he got a pool of people. One of our students got a pool of people to buy these houses, a big group of other students, about 50. They went and bought like 100 houses. Most of them, 80% of them are on seller finance. And he's turning around and seller financing them to these immigrants for $10 down and getting them into housing. But their rents are like really, really high.
Sure.
But how are they affording the rents is because they're having 2 families live in the house that are paying the rent for him. So he's making a ton of money and he got a lot of criticism, a lot of freaking criticism. And I'm like, kudos for you. It's the American way. Sorry to say it, but it's the American way. What's going to happen to housing? The same thing that's always happened to housing. It's going to get more expensive and there's going to be opportunities every freaking where. That's what's going to happen. What are your thoughts on the immigration? What's going to happen with housing?
You hit it. 9% of our country is populated. 9. That's where all the utilities are. That's where all the water is. That's where all the shelter is. So if there's more people coming into that 9%, there's going to be demand. There's going to be significant demand.
Anything to say on that, Jamil?
I don't necessarily think that we know the impact of immigration or that the impact immigration has had on housing because we have such inaccurate numbers when it comes to immigration in our country anyways, right? And so how do we even track it when we don't really know what the number is? It's very difficult to track. It's a complete secondary. It's a whole secondary world, right? It's a secondary economy. So I don't know. I think it's difficult for us to be able to put our finger on it. And is there opportunity there? Absolutely. Is there opportunity that we can track and measure? No.
Yeah, what's interesting about it is that there's people that get really upset about the immigration stuff, and I understand why. Like, I understand why they're upset, and I understand why there's people that are not upset. Like, I get both sides of the argument.
Do you understand sanctuary cities?
No, like New York, like why they're trucking people up to New York.
I think there's that. I think there's a lot of
like Chicago,
California, Chicago,
Yeah.
like.
They're busing
That's got to
people.
have an effect on real estate,
It's
right?
huge. It's absolutely huge. Like, think about what's happening in New York. They just spent $53 million on giving out debit cards to people to buy groceries, right? These immigrants come into New York City, Manhattan of all places, thousands upon thousands upon thousands come into the Port Authority. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Manhattan and see where the Port Authority is. It's in a nice part of town. So they're just ransacked with thousands of people. Like, sometimes every day there's thousands of people.
Where are they absorbed into?
Great question. What they're doing is they're going in and shacking up with each other.
Yeah.
And they're renting these spaces, but they don't have enough money to pay for groceries. And so the government is like, we don't want these people to cause crime.
Sure.
Let's give them money. So they're taking taxpayer dollars, $53 million this month in New York City are given out with debit cards for people to buy groceries for their family. Okay, that's the humane thing to do. I can sit back as a Democrat, as a Republican, as an independent and criticize this whole entire situation, or it can be a smart person. Because if you're a Republican, you're wrong. And if you're a Democrat, you're wrong. And if you're independent, you're wrong. The only political party that is right is the entrepreneur party. That's the only one, because we get to navigate and ride the wave as we see fit. So I look at this and I go, are they taking my tax dollars? No, because I buy real estate. I offset all my income. So I'm not contributing any money to those families. However, I will provide housing for them and I will give them a place to sleep, and I will monetize off that situation because I have a sense of duty and responsibility to my own company. So I could live my life in criticism. Guess what?
Yeah, but you own a lot of real estate.
I do own a lot of real estate,
which means a lot. That's where the money's coming from.
Yep.
Property taxes.
Yeah. Well,
it's not coming from your.
Yeah, I paid a lot of money in property taxes.
IRS, bro.
Correct. But however, I'm not paying money out of my pocket for it. My tenants are paying my property taxes for me.
There you go.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about. The entrepreneur wins.
Right. The entrepreneur wins in all of this. So we could sit here and criticize and be politically upset about this, that, or the other. And if you took all business away from me and I looked at what's happening and I looked at the politics, I could come up with 1,000 criticisms. However, anybody you know and actually has any power, anybody you guys know, does your vote actually matter and change your individual vote? I'm sorry to tell you, it does not. We've been lied to. We've all been lied to. So you got a couple of choices. You can sit there and bellyache about what's actually happening from the people that are imposing this on us, or you could sit back and go, how can I monetize from this and actually benefit my family and build my business based off of this? So that's what a lot of people are doing in Texas and Arizona is they're saying, how can I supply to affordable housing? Now, the other thing that I'm seeing that's crazy is people are now buying a lot of land. I'm seeing a lot of people wholesaling land. People are buying land cash. What are they doing? Putting tiny homes like a mother trucker. These houses off Amazon now that are being built for $21,000 freaking dollars and shipped directly to you. Guys have been watching this shit? That's what's happening to real estate right now is people are like, oh, I'll just go through, put 10 houses on this piece of dirt. I'm going to Yuma this weekend to buy 2 pieces of dirt. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
are you?
Yeah.
Like you?
Me.
Yeah.
People are coming across the border. I better freaking provide housing for them. Are you kidding me? Like, what are we doing here?
Drill a well and let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But these houses from Amazon are 21 grand shipped, delivered, unfolded. They're 2-bed, 1-bath, kitchen included. I put another $5,000 in install fee, foundation, and then another $5,000 for like a little bit of landscape around it. I'm all in 40 grand per house. And the things will rent for like $800-900.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Were you already able to secure yourself a couple of those pages?
I've got like 15 on order on Amazon.
What's the wait time on that?
2 weeks.
Just like that. Are they being 3D printed, do you know, or is these
No,
container-
these are like the ones that are boxable, they come unfolded. Boxable's like 2 years behind because they were so good at branding. But Amazon has like 20 or 30 manufacturers on their website that are like 2 week lead time, shipped to you. You unfold them. They're installed in like maybe 2-3 hours. It's insanity.
Yeah.
So buy
It's the
dirt, my
future.
friends. Buy dirt, throw on tiny homes. You'll be good. Oh, wow. Hey, Brent Muscles.
Yeah, come on up.
Oh, yeah, Mitch, come on up here, brother.
Jamil sexy. All right.
Mitch, you wrap up the show. I'm going to sit in the audience.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. What's up, Jamil, brother? How are you?
How are you? Money making Mitch?
Okay, so we came in Wholesale Hotline right after we did the podcast with Pace. I think it was like a couple of months back.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting here thinking, I was like, well, how do we work with Jamil and you know, all the wholesalers and everybody that you guys have?
Yeah.
And so one of the ideas that I thought was, what if we did this? Jamil was already saying that, you know, the numbers are getting really thin on margins. What if we all collaborate together and would, you know, do a Zoom or an IG live? And we said, hey, look, we taught the wholesalers, hey, what if we could, you know, let's say you got your property under contract, the numbers are skinny. What if we got on there, or we just, you know, put the information out there and said, hey, what if we could show you how to go back to your seller and convert it to create a finance subto deal, and we'll give your seller another $5,000.
Yeah.
Do you think they might be interested in that?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think that there's sellers that want speed and convenience, and then there's people that want price and convenience.
Oh no, I'm seeing you already have it in contract.
Yeah.
And you're buying it on a wholesale deal.
Right.
But you go out and you're starting to look at it, and then the numbers are really tight.
I don't have tight deals.
You don't have tight deals.
I mean, I don't have time. I mean, I
no,
don't.
yeah, I'm just talking about just people in general, like, you know,
No, I
anybody
get
who's
it.
trying to get in the deal.
100,000%.
Yeah,
Mitch,
100,000%. It is something that needs that you have to have in your toolbox for sure.
I love where you're going with this, Mitch. I love where you're going with this. In fact, I've been wanting to talk about what I'm trying to put together on Tuesday. So, you know, we've got a great thing here with Wholesale Hotline. We've got, you know, a mix of creative finance people. We've got cash buyers. We got lenders. We got all these people, but we have a hard time really being able to interact with one another because it's a show. It's a podcast. We've got content that we're delivering. And so I've been toying with this idea of a virtual happy hour, and I'm going to start hosting one every Tuesday at 4:00 Mountain Standard, a virtual happy hour. Subto, Astro, TTP, Gators, top tier, everybody's invited. It's not going to be a content-driven show. It's going to be a happy hour. So we're all going to be hanging out. People will have an opportunity to come up and grab this, you know, StreamYard link and say something and promote a deal or promote or ask for help. But I want to create a more of a dynamic and opportunity for people to really squat up. Leading up to Squad Up Summit, I think this virtual happy hour will give people an understanding of what it's going to feel like to be in a room of 3,000 people. So let's start off Squad Up Summit virtually every Tuesday at 4 p.m., guys. And if you guys want to attend that, my team's got a link for you guys to join it. And it's going to start this next Tuesday.
Awesome.
Not tomorrow, but the following week.
Yeah, I think it's critical. I mean, I think, you know, if you try to learn every technique all at once, you can get really bogged down, or you try to fit certain things into certain strategies where they don't fit because you can't recognize the potential when you're speaking to a property owner. That's why I think cash as is easier for the original condition, rough looking properties.
Yeah.
Because you could just go out and find those and have that conversation. But I think certainly we run across a ton of properties that are move-in ready.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
and then what do you do?
Well,
you know what I mean? I mean, most people in the Rhino Tribe, in my community, they'll squat up with somebody in Subto.
Yeah.
Right. And then if they can't sell a deal, they're going to squat up with somebody in Astro. And so that's how we've been collaborating behind the scenes in regular life. But yeah, that understanding how to take a deal that maybe is a little bit too tight or is not a deal at all and convert it into into something creative would be awesome.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking, like there's a lot of people, that start off the newbies, right? And they get a deal under contract, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, I can't find anybody to buy my deal. Instead of canceling it, I mean,
bring it over.
Let's squat up, baby. Yeah, call us, and I mean, we'll work through the deal
states?
with you.
Any states?
I mean, pretty much. I mean, if we could, we're open to any states. We're doing 18 states right now, so we're doing, like California, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Texas, the Sun Belts, all the way to Carolina.
Yep.
But my thought is like, even if we could just show you, like, hey, this is another option instead of canceling your wholesale deal.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we take a look at it? I mean, we could go into PropStream real quick and see what the interest rate is, and still get you paid on the deal.
Love it.
That's the goal, right?
How can people reach out?
IG Cashflow Mitch. Also IG or Facebook. It's Homester. So HOMESTIR.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Awesome. Guys, come on up. Come on up as we say good night to everybody. Come on up. 4 years in the making. Come on up, Pace. Yeah. Get in here. 4 years in the making. Absolutely incredible.
Wow.
What an honor. Jamil, we love you. We miss you.
Love you guys.
We love you guys all. Squad up. We'll see you next week. Love you.
Wholesale Hotline, baby. 4 years.
Or just say squat up.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.